004 is your pH test. You
Oh,
rinsed.
04.
You rinsed, you filled to the 44 mil level,
Yep,
and you're
we're
simply taking 0004 and adding 5 drops.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Keep these closed tight because they lose potency, okay,
Okay.
if you get air on them constantly. And just go like this twice, and then you're holding it up to the right and you're reading that light chart.
Oh,
Go ahead,
gotcha.
hold it up. And what is it closest to in the color chart?
It's 7.4.
Okay, let me take a look. I added a quart of acid.
7.6, 7.4, somewhere
Okay,
in
let me
there.
see.
7.5.
You're actually right in the range of 7.5 to 7.6.
7.5.
Okay, so once you get used to reading this,
Yeah.
there's a foggy side of the vial and there's a clear side.
Yeah.
Look at both sides and it'll help you determine
Oh, okay.
to know. After you're done, always spill it out and rinse, because otherwise this will become stained from the dyes. It'll stay clear for years if you just give it a little rinse like this and keep it capped. Anti-contamination. Now that the test kit is down to what you're going to be using, chlorine test, pH test, that can go for the pool cleaner. Okay? Now you're bare bones, hard to get confused.
Mm.
Okay?
What's my range? pH.
pH, what you're looking for in your pH range is between the range of 7.4 and 7.6.
Oh, wow.
So you're right there right now.
It's a tight range.
Yeah. That's called 7.5, underline 7.5 is perfect neutral pH. Okay? You couldn't get better right now. Now the truth is I found it at 7.7, I found a quart of acid down there. The salt chlorine generator, which you're on down there, actually said clean. When you go a little more acid, you're circulating a little bit more low pH through that cell of the salt chlorine generating cell. It'll actually tend to free itself and clean itself. So it's a little trick. That's the reason I dumped a little acid in the pool.
Okay.
So the range you want to see is 7.4 to 7.6, as close as possible to neutral pH, which is 7.5. If you're now your legal parameters, as far as the state and fed rules go, you have a right to have it at 7.4 all the way up to 8.0. It's totally legal. But you're going to find our pool guys are trying to stay as close as possible between 7.4 and 7.6.
What happens when it's at 7? What happens when it's at 8?
When it's up to 8, you have a higher pH in the water. You're not activating the chlorine quite as fast as you want to be
Because
activating
I don't even
it.
understand what pH does.
pH is think of it as a regulator, okay? Neutral pH at 7.5, the chlorine is entering the water. Remember, you have to have, by law, chlorine feed of some kind. That's state and fed law on public access pools. So when you're at neutral pH, basic chemistry laws, the chlorine that's going into the water, okay, and moving through the water is attacking potential bacteria,
Yes.
germs,
Yes.
at a certain pace. Then it lives its life and rises out of the water very slowly as a harmless material, okay? If the pH is high, the chlorine gas is not activating as fast as it should be.
Okay.
It's doing its job, but not quite as fast as it should. Okay?
Okay.
So you'll actually test a little, with an 8.0 pH, you'll be testing and getting a lower chlorine reading than is what's actually in the water.
So what's that? When my pH is at 7.0?
When it's at 7.0, you're activating the chlorine gas too fast. And when people are swimming around in the pool and splashing, you're going to smell chlorine a little bit more than you should. You're activating it more
Because
acid
I've been
in
in
the
a
water.
pool before where like the chlorine feels like it's burning my eyes.
That means it was at 5 to 10 or higher. It takes for an adult, a child could get burning eyes at 4 to 6, okay? But for you and I to get burning eyes, it would have to be 5 to 10 or higher. Somebody didn't know what they were doing.
5 to 10 what?
Parts per million chlorine,
Okay.
okay? That's why if you get up to 5, 6,
5 to 10.
you get up to 5 or 6 parts per million chlorine, there's no reason to do that to people, especially people with children, okay? So then give us a call and say, I got a high chlorine,
Yeah.
okay? You're protecting your people,
Yeah,
okay?
that's what we do.
All right. When you get higher than that on chlorine, ladies may come to you and say, you ruined my bathing suit. If you got a black bathing suit, with a very high chlorine, it can go dark green.
Mm.
Okay, and they get pissed off. You don't want to deal with that.
You've never dealt with that before.
I've heard it more than once. So that's why I get the emergency calls and I go running to the customer, figure how it happened, why, and correct it immediately.
Okay.
So you're pretty much it. High pH, Lorraine is not going to ding you. Low pH, if you find it down to 7.3 or 7.2 or 7.0, call us and say, you know what, I got a low pH, and we're going to come out and correct it. Figure out why that happened and correct it immediately. That's all you really need to do.
Right.
The only other notes I want you to take is this. This is your responsibility as a manager.
Okay.
You're seeing to clarity, you already wrote that down. On clarity, basically, if you see that the
Lack
water
of
is getting
pool
cloudy,
water clarity equals low chlorine, call.
no, you test first.
Test.
And this is only if the water is looking not clear. Okay? Then test, find out what you got, and if you find no chlorine, okay, you can certainly dump a gallon of chlorine in the pool. But make sure you call us and let us know that you found a low chlorine, okay? So we know to come out and check on why.
She has a bigger problem with low chlorine than high chlorine.
Exactly right.
What
Because
about
with low
pH?
pH, remember you have the parameters 7.4 all the way up to 8.0 as legal.
Right, but she's got a problem with either side of that window, right?
With low pH, if you find 7.3 or 7.2 or 7.0, call us on the phone. Because if she finds a low pH, she'll say, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Okay, so just call us and we'll come out and correct it. We're supposed to do that.
And if it's too high, same
If
thing.
it's, if the pH is anywhere between 7.4 all the way up to 8.0, forget it.
What about 8.5?
You're legal. You're not going to find our PC allowing that.
Okay.
Okay? You're not going to find those conditions. You might find 7.6, 7.7, 7.8, but it'll never get that high.
Gotcha.
I mean, I found a 7.7. That means he added acid today. But if you don't have a chemical control feed system working 24/7, the pH keeps rising.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
That's why she has to allow those parameters.